What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today it's episode 4 and we're going to talk about supplies. Speaking of supplies, this is a shirt I made for First LAR. Made a back print, chest print. So if you're active duty military and you want to make custom unit shirts, crew necks and hoodies, make sure to email me. It'll be down in the description. And let's get back to the video. First off, let's start talking about the last video. The last video, it was about business accounts. I think that's very important, and the way that I'm making this series is pretty much a step-by-step on what you should do. I'm not saying that you should, but it makes the most sense to do it in that way, and it'll be less of a headache in the long run. But today, we're going to talk about supplies, supply chains, how much they cost, where can you go. So follow along and I hope you enjoy. And thanks for sticking with me throughout this series, and I hope you continue to. Now, let's get started. So where can you go to get clothes or blanks if you're starting a clothing brand or a retail business or a printing business? I myself use Alphabroder. There's another site that I like to use, which is Shirt Space. Both sites are great. They offer competitive pricing for their blanks. It just depends on what you can afford and what you're looking for. Both sites are great resources. There are plenty of other ones, especially if, say for instance, you want to do a luxury brand. I'm sure you can find out, where brands like Supreme get their blanks from and see if that's something that you want to do. But if you're just starting out, my advice is, aim small, miss small. So just test the waters. But if you somehow have the capital, then you can go all out. It all depends on you. Other than wholesale places, like I said, Shirt Space, Alphabroder, you have the other option for manufacturing your own clothing. You choose to use places like Alibaba, AliExpress. You can even use Shein or Temu, to be honest. Or you can find and research places in your local area that offer to manufacture your clothing, even so far as to do fulfillment and even ship it for you, which is along the lines of drop shipping. But if that's the way that you choose to run your business, that's great. I'm not against that. It's entirely up to you. Now, for manufacturers, you might have to do a minimum order quantity. But say for instance, you find a manufacturer overseas or here that you like. Usually they want you to make at least 10 pieces of that item in order for you to get a price break. And by price break, it's like, say you want to manufacture a shirt for $5, but if you order like 50, it goes down to $2. So the more you get, the less it costs per unit. So if you have the capital to invest in something like that, then go for it. More power to you. Why would you want an overseas manufacturer? That's entirely up to you. It might be cheaper. They could do everything for you in terms of processing your clothing brand or anything like that. They can put custom branding, custom designs. It just depends on what you want. So if that's something that you're trying to go for and you don't want to process it yourself, then overseas manufacturing is the way to go. But if you're just starting out, I do suggest using a local manufacturer. It might cost a little bit more than overseas manufacturing, but the quality is guaranteed and the customer service is guaranteed. Unlike overseas manufacturing, where it's very difficult, especially since sometimes there's a language barrier, and sometimes when you actually receive the product, it's not what you were expecting. So just be wary should you do overseas manufacturing. Like I said, it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish with your brand or your clothing business. So sure to research, which leads us to our next topic. Like I said in the last segment, research. Research is key. You're probably going to spend a majority of the time at the start of your business researching your supply chain. I would suggest don't just put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure to research one manufacturer or supplier and research another manufacturer and supplier. Compare the two so that you get the best deal, the best price, and the best quality, because your supply really does matter. If you put out a product, you could have the best design on it, but if the actual physical material of the product isn't, top-notch quality, you could lose customers that way. So I suggest that you do your research, order samples. Samples can cost a bit, so be smart on how you spend your money. But like I said, just research thoroughly. It'll save you money, it'll save you from getting a headache, and for the most part it's for your customers, and your customers are your business. Another thing that you should also do is to always have a backup. Say for instance, you have this one supplier that you've been working with, and as life goes on, that supplier disappears. What do you do now? You should always have a backup. Like I said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's just a recipe for disaster, and it's not very wise to run your business thinking like that. Make sure to have your main supplier, backup supplier, and even a backup to the backup supplier. So in today's video, we talked about wholesale accounts at wholesale sites that you can use here domestically. We talked about suppliers and manufacturers overseas that you can use, or even domestic suppliers. And we also talked about research. Researching all this stuff is key because it's your business. You can take all this advice, all this information that I'm giving you, but at the end of the day, it's your business, and how you run it is entirely up to you. But research. So comment below if you like the series. I'm going to continue to keep doing this series because I believe that it's going to save you a headache in the long run. I wish I had something like this when I was starting out. Follow me on all my other social media pages. Links will be in the description. Like and subscribe in the video, and I'll see you in the next one.